Welcome back to Linux Shenanigans. Zarian here. Today's video came about due to a request for a follow-up from my previous BlueBuild tutorial, where we set up our custom Fedora build in GitHub and learned the basics of how to customize it. If you haven't, go watch that first. I'll have a link in the description. This builds on it, or maybe I should say it BlueBuilds on it. Thank you. I'll be here all week. So you've got a BlueBuild image going. You've figured out the basic recipe file, you've pushed it, it built, you're running your custom Fedora. Good. Now you want to actually install stuff. I'll go over the DNF module, where most of the work happens in a BlueBuild config. Here are their docs. The link will be in the description for that too. Feel free to have them open next to this video. This module is split into three main sections: repos, install, and remove. And then there's replace and group install and group remove as bonus features. We'll get to all of them. Let's start with repos. With repo files, you can either point to a URL, like the Brave browser repo in this example, or you can drop a .repo file, if provided, into the DNF directory inside files in your image repository and reference it by name. BlueBuild will copy it into the right place during the build. COPR repos are also straightforward. You just list the COPR name, like atim/starship. If the COPR was built for a different Fedora release than what you're targeting, you can specify a ch root. Like it says here, it's the name of the OS in which the package was built. So if you are running Fedora 44 and want a package that only exists for Fedora 43, you can specify it here. As you can see, you also need to specify your architecture as well as the OS version. The one shown in the docs is the most common one, and probably the one you are running. Keys are for when you're adding a repo that needs a GPG key. GPG keys are basically digital signatures. They let your system verify that the packages from that repo actually came from who they say they came from and haven't been tampered with. Think of it like checking the seal on a package before you open it. The BlueBuild docs shows it here. Same deal as repo files. You can add keys via a link or local key file which you placed into the DNF folder inside the files folder of your build. That said, you don't always need this section. Most well-written .repo files already include a GPG key line with the key URL baked in, so DNF handles it automatically. The separate keys section is mainly useful if your .repo file is local and references a local key file, or if you're adding a repo some other way that doesn't handle keys itself. For COPR repos specifically, you never need to worry about this. The GPG keys are handled automatically by the COPR infrastructure. Non-free repos is included by BlueBuild for convenience. You can set it to either Negativo 17 or RPM Fusion. It'll enable whichever one you pick and disable the other if it was already enabled. Now, which one should you use? Negativo 17 focuses on multimedia codecs, NVIDIA drivers, Steam, and things like that. It's more curated, fewer packages, but they tend to be well-maintained and less likely to cause conflicts. RPM Fusion is the bigger, more established repository. It has a lot more software, non-free drivers, codecs, firmware, games, emulators, you name it. It's split into free and non-free sections. The practical difference is that if you need NVIDIA drivers and Steam, Negativo has you covered with less overhead. If you need something more niche, like a specific codec or a less common application, RPM Fusion is more likely to have it. One important thing: if you're using a universal blue image as your base, Negativo is already configured. You don't need to add it. There's also a cleanup option for repos. If you set cleanup to true, any repos you added in that same repos section get removed after packages are installed. This is useful if you only need a repo for installing one specific package and don't want it hanging around on the finished system. It also means that if you decide to use RPM OS3 locally on your machine to add a package, why would you since you are building this, you will not be pulling from those repositories. Now the install section. This is where most people spend their time. The basic form is just a list of package names. Package 1, package 2, whatever you need. But there are a few extra things you can do. You can install from a URL, a direct link to an RPM file. BlueBuild will download it and install it during the build. You can also reference local RPM files in your build's DNF folder, same as with repo files. If you need a package from a specific repository, you can specify the repo. You can also exclude packages from being installed. This sounds backwards, but it makes sense when a package you do want pulls in dependencies you don't. Say you install Neri, but you don't want Alacrity, Waybar, and Fuzzle that come along with it. You list those under Exclude, and they won't get installed. Then there are the flags. These map directly to DNF5 command line options. Skip-unavailable is useful when you're installing from multiple repos, and some packages might not be found. Instead of failing the whole build, it just skips what it can't find. With skip broken, if package A depends on package B and B has issues, B gets removed from the transaction so A can still install. Allow erasing lets DNF forcefully remove packages to resolve dependencies. When you need to make major changes, like swapping your Mesa stack, sometimes DNF will not allow you to do it because something else is dependent on the packages. Use it carefully, as you could end up uninstalling your entire desktop environment if you aren't careful. Totally not talking from experience here. No-gpgchecks disables GPG signature checking. The docs explicitly say this decreases security, and only to enable it if you need to. They're not wrong. Install-weak-deps is enabled by default. Weak dependencies are things like recommended packages. Not strictly required, but suggested. If you want a minimal install, set this to false. The remove section is simpler. You list packages to remove. By default, it also removes unused dependencies. If you want to keep those around, set auto remove to false. Replace lets you take existing packages and swap them out for versions from a different repo. The use case is when you want a patched version of something from a COPR. You specify from repo, that's the repo you want to pull the new versions from, and list which packages to replace. The packages you list are the current ones on your system. They get swapped out for whatever that COPR provides instead. If the package names are different between repos, you use old and new to map them. The old name gets removed, the new name gets installed. There's also group install and group remove for installing and removing package groups. If you want optional packages from a group, set with optional to true. Let me show you what a full config looks like, because the docs have a good example. You start with repos. You add the Brave repo file from URL, a local repo file called fury.repot, a couple of COPRs, Atom, Starship, and TrixieUA mutter patched. You add the Brave GPG key. You set non-free to RPM Fusion, and you set cleanup to true, so all of this gets cleaned up after install. Then install. You install Brave Browser from the Brave Browser repo, plus Starship, plus a direct RPM URL for Tabby, plus a local RPM called kubectl. You skip unavailable packages and exclude Alacrity. Then remove. You remove Firefox and its language packs. Then replace. You replace Mutter, Mutter Common, and GDM with versions from the TrixieUA/Mutter patched COPR. Then group install. You install the Cosmic Desktop and Window Managers groups with optional packages enabled. Then group remove. You remove the Development Tools group. That's a lot in one module, but that's the point. You can do almost everything you need for package management in one place, declaratively, without writing shell scripts. The thing to keep in mind is that this all runs at build time. Your image gets baked with these packages included. That's the whole point of BlueBuild. You're not installing things after the fact. You're defining what the image should contain and letting it build that way. If you're coming from a traditional Fedora setup where you just run dnf install after every fresh install, this takes some getting used to. But once you have your recipe file dialed in, rebuilding your image with all your packages is one command. And if something breaks, you roll back to the previous deployment, fix the config, and rebuild. No more reinstalling from scratch. The DNF module is probably the one you'll touch most often. Get comfortable with it, and the rest of BlueBuild starts to click. Well, that's it for this one. I hope you found this useful. This is Zarianne, and I will see you at the next one.